everybody, welcome back to the Positively Craig YouTube channel. Thank you very much for joining me once again. I want to say a huge thank you to everybody who's stayed subscribed to my channel. I know it's been a while since we last done a video, but it's really important to me that obviously that you all guys have stuck with me. Yeah, as you've probably noticed, I am not in my usual location. I am on the road. Yes, I am driving. I am in a different setup. Now, the reason behind this is obviously things have changed a little bit since our last video. Obviously I've got a different job, do a lot more travelling now, so it's a bit harder for me to sort of get me videos out, but it's one of the things that I wanted to really try and start doing, is getting back into this, getting into, you know, getting the videos running again, letting you guys know I'm still here, I haven't disappeared, and obviously, you know, give you a bit more content to what's been going on. But yeah, that's one of the things I just wanted to quickly get out the way. Yeah, we're on the road, we're on locale, as they say, in my car. So yeah, so I'd like to say, first off, they've got some new content coming. There's going to be a lot more videos coming out now. Now I've got the ability to film sort of whilst I'm out and about, which is something I didn't have before. So it's going to be, you know, it's going to be lots of fun. I think we're going to have, you know, some good things to talk about. Got some really good topics to discuss. Yeah, I think we're going to be having a lot of fun with this one, and I think we'll really get some good videos out there. Yeah, so what's changed for you? You know, have you, since we last talked, have you got a new job? You know, have you become more busy than you previously were? And how's that affected your life? How has that had an impact on your day-to-day? You know, are you having to travel a bit more? Are you, you know, having to change your priorities? And how's that had an effect on you? I know one of the things that can really make a difference, obviously, once you're traveling quite a long distance, you know, it can be quite hard. It can make you a lot more tired. You're getting up a lot earlier. You know, it does make things a bit tougher to sort of handle on your day-to-day, but it doesn't mean that, you know, we should feel any less despondent. We should feel really good about the fact that, yeah, you know, things might have changed. We might have taken a bit more responsibility. We might be doing a lot more than we used to do. But at the end of the day, you know, we're still here. We're still, you know, making the best of what we've got. We're doing what we can, and these are the things that I think are so important to us as, you know, as people, that we don't get despondent by some of the extra things, the burdens we've took on. Some people might have, like, you know, had the first child, bought the first house, you know, the big responsibilities in your life, because there's, you know, there is key points that happens in your life that can make a big difference to you, you know. Like the first time you pass your driving lesson, your driving test, sorry, and then all of a sudden, you know, this world of freedom opens up to you, and you got the opportunity then to go out and explore the world, and you know, you can just jump in your car and just go anywhere you want. You know, I know one of the first things I did when I first got my car, which to me was a bit of a rite of passage, was I went straight to Mackie's drive-through, because it was the first time, you know, you could actually go through a drive-through. You got your own car, you know, and it felt, I don't know, it was sort of like a rite of passage. I don't know if you were the same. You know, let me know in the comments if that was something you did when you passed your driving test, because for me, that was quite a big one. I definitely made it like a rite of passage. I was like, right, you know, I've got a car, you know, this is the first thing I want to do. I know it can be a little bit silly, but it's also like something you can't do without a car, so it does make complete sense. You know, but like, for instance, if you know, the differences that can happen in your life, like, as I say, if you've started a new family, you know, starting a new family can be very tough, you know, sleepless nights, and you know, you all of a sudden you've got this new baby that you've got to, you know, you got to learn how to adapt in your life, and also, you know, make sure that you're doing the best for the baby, because, you know, people give you these tips, you know, oh, you can do this, you can do that, but it's never the same. It's always different when you've got your own kids. It's never sort of as straightforward as it can be. it's a learning process. So yeah, there's so many different things that can change in your life. You know, starting a new family, buying a new house. If you've bought a new house and, you know, all of a sudden, you know, you've got the responsibilities of living on your own, because like if you've lived at home with your parents, you know, at that point, you know, they're the ones who've paid the bills, they're the ones who've managed your life, and sort of you've not really had that responsibility. But taking on a house, you know, that's a big responsibility. All of a sudden you've got all these bills, you've got your mortgage, stuff like that, and it can be a little bit daunting to begin with, but also it's really exciting because it's the next chapter of your life. You know, you've started this new part of your life where the future now is not sort of set by anybody else. It's not like, you know, decisions in the house are made by someone else. It's all your choice. You know, you choose to decorate the house the way you want and live in the house the way you want, and you'll have friends around, and you know, it's you know, in the beginning it's a bit scary, but also it's liberating. It can be liberating for you because you're getting the chance to you know, be yourself, grow into an adult basically. Where like living at home, yeah, you may be an adult at home, but you're not truly your own person, your own self, unless you've got out there, and you know, you might have took a mortgage on, you might have started living in a house or a flat, paying rent, and all of a sudden this commitment, you know, is real. It's something fantastic. But I know, like, as you get older, you sort of appreciate the things that you've got, you know, the things the decisions you've made, and how things have been really good for you. You know, and it's not always as simple as that, but it's definitely something worth thinking about, because, you know, at some point we all have to, you know, get into the real world and dip our toe in that water and see what it's like. And, you know, I find that is a real life journey, and I hope you're, you know, having that journey to yourself. So the sun's starting to come out, starting to get a bit warmer, now starting getting into spring. Now this is one of the things that I'm you know, I don't know about yourself, but I'm one of these people who likes the warmer weather. The winter, you know, can bring on sort of a lot of, you know, bad feelings. You know, when it's dark when you get up, it's dark when you're going home from work or college or school, and you know, it's just not as good as it could be, and that can really have an effect on your mental state. I know, you know, a lot of people who I've reached out to recently, and you know, they've said during the winter months they're just so low, they're so sad. You're stuck indoors, the curtains are drawn. You know, it's just not enjoyable. You feel like a hermit, and you feel like you're sort of trapped in this bubble during the winter months. But you know, think about it now. You know, the sun's coming out. Look, the sun's beaming into my car right now, and I'm like, I can barely see. But that's good. That's making me feel, you know, a lot better, a lot more confident, a lot, you know, a more positive mindset. Because when the sun's up and we think, oh, you know, this is when we can start enjoying ourselves. This is when we can start sitting in the garden, you know, having drinks with friends, getting the barbecue out. You know, I'm a bit early for the barbecue, but you know, we're not a million miles away from when it's going to get really warm, you know, in the summer months. And that's when, you know, we're getting the barbecues out, we're sitting in the garden, we have a few drinks, we've got friends around, family around, you know, and that's a feel-good factor. That's making us feel really good about, you know, if anything, like our existence. So, you know, how we feel about getting up in the morning, getting out and about. You know, you go from wearing your winter coats, you put on like a light jacket, and then you go to, in the summer months, you're wearing just like a t-shirt, and then the shorts come out, the skirts come out, and that's it. Then, you know, you're starting to feel better about yourself. You know, you feel a bit more free. You know, nice sun beating on your face, and for me, that has a real impact on mental health and how you feel, and how, you know, just literally just your whole being, how you feel about just being out and about, getting up, because you know the winter months are tough. You know, a lot of people endure, you know, loneliness during the winter months, financial burdens, you know, during the winter months, because obviously you're having to have your heating on. You know, you got people out there, like especially, you know, the elderly who sometimes don't have the money to be able to put heating on, and that's, you know, that's something where a lot of people do suffer from. And it's sad, you know, that the world as we get in it now is, you know, everything's getting more expensive, so we're having to work a bit harder, we're having to sort of cut back on some of our luxuries, and that can have a big effect on you. It'll make a big difference to how you're feeling, you know, when you're not getting the things that you're so used to, you know, due to the cost of living and stuff like that. And obviously this is not a political video, it's just mention some of the things that we deal with day to day. So I'm not gonna go into depth. This video is not about that. I just want to be clear about that. This is just basically a little sort of a daily vlog, just to say that, you know, where are you in the world right now? What's the weather like? Are you driving to work? Are you getting up, getting ready to go out? You know, are you getting your kids ready for school? You know, are you waking up in a good mood because, you know, the sun's shining? You know, and these are the things that you know, you've got to start sort of thinking a little bit differently. You know, it's still not quite out of, you know, the winter months in that respect, but it's about being positive. It's about waking up with the right attitude, the right frame of mind, thinking, right, today's going to be a really good day. What am I going to do today that's going to make a big difference? What am I going to do that's going to be different from yesterday? Because that's the main question is, you know, if you didn't have a good day yesterday, what are you going to do to change that? What are you going to do to make your day better compared to the way it was yesterday? You know, are you going to decide that, no, today I'm going to pick one thing that I'm going to do, and I'm going to make sure I do that thing. I'm going to be positive about it. You know, I'm going to strike that one thing off my list that needs to be done. It could be something like decorating. It could be, you know, getting something done, you know, around the house. You know, trying to sort of push for maybe like getting a promotion in work. You know, going an extra mile, doing something for somebody else, because don't ever take that for granted. Helping somebody do something, you know, that's selfless for yourself. You know, helping someone get some shopping in, help someone, you know, decorate, help someone put, you know, do some renovations in the house, or even just sitting and talking to somebody, visiting an old friend, somebody you may not have reached out to in a while, and just going and saying hello over a cup of tea, cup of coffee, and just, you know, catch up and feel good about yourself. Because again, during the winter months, you know, we're all locked away, we're all sort of stored in our houses, and, you know, we can't always get out as much as we want. But, you know, let's make this year 2026, let's make this year a positive year. Let's do the best thing we can do for ourselves, is be positive, move forward, and try and make the best of what we've got. Because there's so many things in this world that will pull you down, drag you down, and make you sad and make you despondent, but you don't need to be one of them. You can be a real positive aspect of your life. You know, you can be in work, you can be around peers and people like, oh, you know, you need to do better, you need to do this, you need to do that, and, you know, it can make you feel low. But you don't need to drag yourself down. You're a positive person, you're a confident person. Why don't you make the best of what you've got? Why don't you change your attitude and go, no, I'm not going to let other people alter my mental state and make me feel sad and make me feel low. I'm going to say no to them, and I'm going to make a difference. I'm going to be confident today. I'm going to change the way my life is, and I'm going to decide to put one foot in front of the other, but I'm going to do it with my chin held high. I'm not going to do it with the weight of the world on my back, because, you know, as we all know, we do sometimes carry things around with us, but we can't change what's happened in the past, but we can change what's coming in the future. So that's definitely something you should really think about. Is don't think about what's the past has done to us and how that's affected us. What does the future hold? No, we're not mind readers, we're not fortune tellers, but we can make a difference. We can, choose our own destiny in that respect, and see what that's got for us to hold and in the future. So why don't we? Why don't we just have that attitude? What's stopping you? It's only yourself. Think about that. Well, I want to say a huge thank you. I say it's not been a very long video, this one. It's just more of a catch up, more of a let you know where I am, and also that I've been thinking about you guys, thinking about what you guys have been up to, what's changed in your lives, and it's it's important to me that I do hear some of your feedback in my comments. If you need to reach out to me, if you've got any topics that you'd like to discuss or like me to discuss or go over, please put it in the comments. I'll be happy to take any suggestions, and I love hearing back from you guys, because I'd love to get some feedback on what's changing your guys' lives, and what that's looking like now, and potentially maybe just give you sort of a bit of a help, or helping up with some recent problems that might have landed on your desk, as they say. So yeah, make sure you reach in my comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe my videos, it's really important. Helps keep this channel alive. As I say, a lot more content to come. Got some really good videos coming out, so hope you guys stay tuned. It's really important that we keep up the positivity and spread that. Make sure that if you're feeling a good mood, make sure other people, you're nice to them, bring them people up. If you see someone in a negative mood, try and sort of help them with how they're feeling. Yeah, let's make this happen. We can do this, guys. So yeah, thanks again for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I've been Positive with Craig. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.